Oh, that's what she said.
There we go. What you get when you add cheese. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Who we got? Who we got in the private chat?
GL, of course.
Yeah, there's nothing private about it, but yeah, GL's here. Trying to find my list.
Who we got in the comment section? GL, Courtney, GL and Courtney.
So that's 3 are watching. So somebody's just being bashful.
Who's being bashful out there? Doesn't matter. We got GL and Courtney. We got a show.
We got all we need. You're all I need to get by.
Well, welcome everybody. Oh, Pat decided to be in the comments.
Why is Pat in the comments and not on the show?
He's got a thing.
He's got a thing. What thing could be more important than this thing?
Some people, support the Longbox Crusade Network.
Some people call him Space Cowboy. Some people call him Gangsta of Love.
Some people call him Maurice.
Some people call him Pat. I speak on the prophetess of love.
Well, welcome everybody to our 21st Doing It live stream.
Are you serious?
21? We can legally drink now?
First,
yeah.
Doing It live stream.
Time for a rogue agent.
I, of course, am your semi-regular host, Jared, all with the art sale artist, joined by Delvin the Dark Web Williams, live and direct from Charlotte, North Carolina, and Jason the Weasel Skull Albrick, coming at you from Washington State.
What's going on, everybody? It's smoky.
Back.
It's smoky out here.
Welcome back. We're going to be doing top 5 artists, and man, was that hard or what?
Impossible.
It was dang near impossible.
I've got 7 lists in front of me. 7 lists, and I'm just gonna blindly pick one.
I made one and was like, I could probably erase that list and put like 5 more people on there and be like, okay, yeah.
I felt ashamed of my list every time I wrote it because of who I left off.
I know. I was same way.
It's like I'd start crying. I don't really mean this. I love you too, man.
Let's see. I'm texting Van Plexico right now, who was possibly going to join us just to see what's up.
Well, I don't want Van to show up because then we would have like more people like on the live stream than in the comment section.
That's true. That is true.
We're gonna be talking favorite artists, man. I'm sure we'll give some stuff away. I got to figure out what I'm going to give away.
Who was the weasel from Looney Tunes? Green Lantern HG? I don't remember a weasel from Looney Tunes. I remember Tasmanian Devil. Do you remember a weasel, Jared?
No, I don't. We'll let you down on that one. Well, I guess. Let's see. Do we have any Longbox Crusade announcements? Oh, I'll be happy to announce, and I'll switch banners while I make this announcement. Let's see here. I think I've got. There we go. Boop. For Crusaders Club members, you may have noticed over the last week or two that we've introduced a new show on the Patreon page only. If you're interested in that, it's information scrolling on the bottom of the page. But that's our Crusaders Club. And for those of you who are involved in that, you will be able to watch a new video series called I Finished It.
I synced it.
Or I synced it. Delvin has done an episode. I've done like 6 now, I think.
6 now?
I dropped 1 today.
Good Lord.
I'm not allowed on, so I can't.
Jason's been banned. So that's a new feature. They're just like little, 4 to, I think the longest one's 10 minutes, like 4 to 10 minute videos of things that we finished recently that, maybe you might be interested in. Maybe not. Who knows? But Courtney asked, could she send me $1?
I'll tell you what, send me the $1 and then I will send it to them.
We know.
And don't worry, Courtney, I am being safe here. I'm in no immediate fire danger on the West Coast. A lot of smoke out there. If you can see this, the air quality index is unhealthy right now. So,
So Jason clearly is not doing his job.
nah, I've been told not to. It's unhealthy. I'm on the west side. The west side is fine. We're okay.
I was gonna go with that. That's his Domino's pizza order. It's almost full time.
It's funny because I had Papa John's last night. I like Papa John's because it comes with that garlic dipping sauce. You know?
Oh, so good. I haven't had Papa John's in a while, but that garlic sauce, you shake it up.
Oh yeah, man. You dip it, then you like lick the inside. Like, that's it. You can mainline it into your vein. Just so delicious.
Oh my goodness! I guess I better figure out what we're going to give away today. You guys vamp for time. We'll look see what I got.
Is a weasel trying to eat foghorn leghorn? I remember foghorn leghorn. I don't remember the weasel though.
I remember the chicken hawk.
I do too. Yeah. Or that little kid that's always trying to start crap.
I think that's the chicken hawk. I thought that was the chicken hawk.
Is that the chicken hawk?
Well, no, there's a chicken hawk, but there was also like there's like a bird with like glasses, like
the little dirty one. Yeah, the thought he was all that.
Say, boy, say, come over here. I got to learn you something.
I swear that boy's about as sharp as a bag of bowling balls.
You can't beat those cartoons. Like, I mean, like some of them were not PC or whatever, but I'm sorry. Some of them were freaking, like, they were by and large freaking hilarious. And the fact that, like, all of that stuff was, like, handmade like it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't have, like, computer animation. Like, they had someone drawing all that. Egghead GL, come on, man. Quit showing out.
Well, we know if we're ever going to do a show on Warner Brother cartoons, who's going to be our first guest.
Oh yes. And you know, it'd be GL, it would be me, it would be Pat, it would be Jason, it'd be Jared, and that's all, folks.
That's all.
Sometimes you have to go a long way for setups, you know.
Oh my goodness!
I seen it.
I seen it, boy.
Oh my goodness! We got all kinds of Penelope Pit Stop has now been mentioned in the chat.
Oh yeah, looks like Courtney's auditioning for this.
People know their cartoons apparently better than we do in the chat.
We got to get Jason to record an I finished it or I synced it or or whatever he wants to call it.
Yes,
they're fun. I did it and was like I actually need to stop myself from talking because I want to go over.
Well, you know, in all seriousness, I've been watching Avatar, the animated series, with my son. My son loves that series, the Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'd heard of it, but it is really, really good. I've really been enjoying it. So we just finished season 2, so we're on the final season. So that might be a good. I synced it when I wrap that up, the Avatar series.
Yeah, that was a good idea by Jared. It's I like it because it doesn't have to be anything super formal. You just
what I do.
Drop a video, like this is what I think about it. Cool. See you later. I like it.
I just sent Van a text that says, because I noticed he tweeted 16 minutes ago, how are you tweeting but not texting me back? I see what's up.
Oh,
Jared with jealous girlfriend. I see you with your little friend.
I see you're over there tweeting. You're having a good time. Well, you know what? We should probably talk about.
We got an Ola from Chola.
An Ola from Chola. But you know what? Maybe we should, actually do a round of we've been chatting for about 10 minutes, vamping for time.
I'll get it.
I should probably just call him, put him on speakerphone. Let him explain himself to us and everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Explain to Courtney, Chola, and GLHG and Pat. Why?
Yeah, what's
Why? What's up?
what's going on? Are you too good to share
Too
your
good
top
for the
5
Longbox Crusade?
artists? And you know what? Going back to our actual topic today, I think we all agree that like at some point it was just like what artist pops into my head. The first, I'll be honest with you guys, this was actually the filter that I used because I mean, oh gosh, there's just so many great
So many.
artists that I was like, okay, if I could just have 5 pieces, one from each of these artists hanging on my wall, who would I pick?
Mm.
And then that got murky because
Well, we have to resurrect some people.
well, they drew stuff.
Yeah, I guess
Their
that's true.
stuff is
I thought you meant like somebody draw an original piece for us, like, but you're saying an existing piece.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
Okay,
yeah, like that's kind of like how I filtered it. I was like, oh my god, because it's almost like doubly, triply hard for me because I've met all these wonderful people now that I've been on the con circuit for about 5 years now, and it's like, who are some great comic book artists or pop artists like Luke Dobb is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough people know about Luke, and I've met these great folks, over the years. So it's like, man, how do you make a list that doesn't include these wonderful people that I've met?
Yeah.
Robert Pope, I sat next to him at a con in Atlanta, and what a great cartoonist. It's like Bud Root, who draws monsters and sexy women better than anybody on the planet, and I've sat next to him at like 4 or 5 cons, and these are all people deserving of notice, but just to narrow it down to 5, golly.
Yeah.
Impossible. And I'll tell you my criteria, and since you mentioned yours,
yeah, let's hear.
I think Jason should have an opportunity to mention his.
Sure.
My criteria was, who did I go out of my way to get their comic books? Like, if this person were drawing this book, even if I knew nothing about the title, I either got the book or I strongly considered getting the book. And that's what I went with. And even then, I was still like, I could probably redo this list. And because I also went to my the comic book collect database that I have to see who, is like the biggest artist that I have. But for whatever reason, it didn't sort it well by artist. So only like I had a couple of names come up, and I could have put either one of those. And I think one was Carlos Pacheco.
Great.
Yeah, that's what I thought hard about. Yeah,
and I'm trying to remember Salvador
LaRocca. Yep,
Salvador LaRocca.
And I'm like, I could easily see.
Who else was in that era was Sean Chen, who drew an amazing Iron Man book.
Mm-hmm.
These are all names that floated through my head as I was trying to. I mean, you guys know what a JLI fan I am. Like, I'm a huge JLI fan.
So Kevin McGuire.
Kevin McGuire is not on my top 5, and it hurts my soul.
Yep.
And I mean, like, he could be. It's like one of those things, It's like we could probably. I think Jason mentioned this. Like, we could probably do like 5 or 6 lists and just pick one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But Jason, what was your thought process going into it?
Similar to Delvin's, somebody that just the name gets me interested in a book, but also I kind of put a caveat on there that I think will show itself as we go through the list of people that had maybe a personal influence on me or my family as well. So that was also something I considered strongly when I put the list together. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, man. I'm making us a banner right now so we could be all professional and whatnot.
Oh.
There we go. There you go.
Banner up.
Oh boy. So Jason had a personal
Mm-hmm.
kind of like you've met them and they treated you well and all that. So I suspect
in some cases,
Gene Colan's on Jason's list.
maybe might
and Delvin went with like who draws you to a book. I suspect Mark Bagley is on his list. And I just went with like, if that was like hanging on my wall, how proud I would be to have art by that creator. So different takes, different tacks, but I'm sure we're going to talk about some amazing artists. So all you folks in the chat, which I believe consists of Chola, Courtney, GLHG, the Longbox Crusade itself, which I'm assuming is Pat. Be prepared. We're about to share our number 5, but before we get into that, of course, if you want to win a little something today, today's prize pack for people in the chat is going to be, we've got an actual novel written by Christopher Golden, who writes wonderful superhero stuff.
He does.
And
fantasy books too.
Yes, indeed. Oh, well, there's Delvin. Hi, Delvin.
What?
You don't win, Delvin.
I try to give myself the. Oh, Delvin actually activated today's stream, I think, brought people in, so he's the main guy. Anyway,
yeah,
I'll hold it close. We've got he wrote a novelization of Runaways.
Oh, you want me to hold on? Let's see.
Oh, I can big board myself, but I was just trying to do I can go solo like this.
Oh, we are.
But I don't need to do all that. That's fine. Exit solo. There we go. So anyway, you could win this Runaways book, and we're gonna keep it in a let's see. Ooh, let's pair that up with some James Bond, right? Because let's mix 2 universes. You'll get this and Casino Royale on DVD.
Nice.
So that's for people in the chat. So if that's interesting to you, just do the usual I want to win.
Mm-hmm. And before you continue, DVD's nuts.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I want to win in the chat. If you want to be entered for our viewers giveaway, you get the Bond DVD. And
yep, I got the notebook. Got it ready.
Dalton's got the official notebook. Courtney has revealed her number 5, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a friend of the show.
I think, by the way, that you should take out Casino Royale because that's really new and really fancy, and you should probably put in some
Connery. Hey.
Connery.
Yeah, we're doing some old school stuff over on the On Her Majesty's Secret Podcast Network right now. We've our OK Connery film review starring Sean Connery's brother Neil. That's a real thing. That dropped last month, and then on Monday we'll be dropping our review of The Silencers, which is a Matt Helm movie starring Dean Martin. We're sort of in the James Bond cash-in craze of films.
GNT Connery.
GNT Connery is now. So I want to win. I see a Courtney in there. I see a Chola in there.
Chola's in there too. Yep.
Hey, we'll check back in with that as we move
I think just
around.
pencil in GLHD because I mean, come on.
I see Courtney picked John Beatty as her number 5 artist, and I don't disagree with that. If you've been following his Twitter at John Beatty Art, just about 2 or 3, 4 days ago, he posted some original sketch covers he did. He did a cap headshot and a Red Skull headshot on 2 different cap covers, and man, they were good. John's much like a lot of those inkers out there that we think of as strictly as inkers. They're actually pretty darn good artists as well. John has such a neat style.
Yep.
So yeah, we definitely recommend the John Beatty Art channel. I guested there yesterday on an episode. Mark Catherley and I were both on John Beatty's channel yesterday. Drawing. I drew a Swamp Thing. Mark did a Wolverine, and John worked on a Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Nice.
Oh, who wants a sneak peek at what I drew today right before we went live?
I do.
All right. I got on a page from the Army manual. I got a commission request to do Sergeant Rock.
That's a good one.
He asked specifically for it to be in Kubert style, so I'm hoping I nailed it.
That is, yeah, I think you were on the mark there.
Was that Kurt?
It wasn't. I couldn't believe it. It's this new guy I met on Twitter, and he hit me up and he was like, "Hey, I'd be interested in on that military manual. Could you do a Sergeant Rock?" And I was like, Is this a sock puppet account for Kurt?
Yeah.
Is it Perk Skencer?
Yeah, my name is Perk Skencer.
No, it's funny is I did like a match game thing with the 2 of them because I was like, "Hey, do you know Kirk Spencer?" And he's like, "No." I was like, "That dude, he always wants Sergeant Rock." He's like, "Well, should I follow him on Twitter?" I'm like, "Yeah, if you like war comics, Kirk Spencer's the guy to follow for sure."
Yep, that and Atari Force. There was some thread or something I saw about Atari Force, and I linked Kirk to it, and then neither one of them took me off of the Twitter. I instantly regret this.
48 notifications about Atari Force. I'm currently reading it. That's my current crusade as I read through my hardcover. I have them all hardcover because, omahabound.com.
So
They hardcover. They make you fancy. You want to be fancy like me? Go to omahabound.com today and get your comic books hardbound. They do a wonderful job. And I think they are wrapping up a Kickstarter that's close. They could really use your help, by the way. So go check out omahabound.com. Check them out on social media. They've got a Kickstarter right now to do a book called The Fringe, which is some of Phil Hester's old stuff. Compiled and done very nicely. And I know they're getting close, but time was running short. So if you've got a couple bucks to give, please check that out. Just look up Omaha Bound on any social media platform. I'm sure you'll find it. A link to their Kickstarter. It's probably on their webpage as well. But and if you're not doing that, get some comics hardbound with them. Do a great job. Like I said, I'm going through my Atari Forces right now. I'm on issue 4 now, I think. So anyways, anybody else in the chat want to reveal their number 5 artist? Because we are about to.
Oh my!
And let's just jump right into it. And let's Jason.
All right,
number 5.
So the year is 1988. I've been out of
88. I'm trying to guess who it is.
Been out of comics for a little while.
Go on.
Introduced to Batman: The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller.
Right.
It is not that comic.
Okay.
Batman: The Dark Knight Returns gets me interested in Batman, so I start picking up Batman and Detective Comics.
Go on.
Detective Comics artist is a man named Norm Brayfogle, who drew such spectacular panels and great flowing action that it secured my entrance back into comics, in which I never left.
How you like that?
There you go.
How you like that? Look what Jared just did.
There it is. There it is. Number 5 for the Weasel Skull is Norm Brayfogle.
Boom. By the way, I have samples from every artist that's on my list, so you know he's going to show up somewhere on my list. I brought screenshot samples for everyone on my list. Norm Brayfogle, heck yes, Jason. I will pile on to that and say, well, let me put him back on the screen. Nobody to this day have I ever seen that draws consecutive action. I mean, not only we're looking at like a cover style image right now, but we're talking panel to panel layouts. It's just visual storytelling.
That's a 5. That's a 5 right there. That's going on my wall.
That's right. Nobody does that like Brayfogle.
That's amazing. That's a great drawing. When did he draw that for you? Tell us.
That's just a drawing I found on the internet. I went on the internet and I just found some samples for everybody who's on my list. And I try to pick things that are a little offbeat that they might not have seen before. So there you have it.
That's lovely. That's fantastic.
So Norm Brayfogle sitting at Jason's number 5. And anybody else in the chat chip in on a 5 yet? Besides Courtney went with John Beatty, which is nothing wrong with that. Oh, Green Lantern HG. Mark Schultz, amazing nature scenes, animals, amazing black and white art. Plus, it's partly because of him I got to love podcasts. Well, cool. So it's all thanks to Mark Schultz that we've got GLHG in our leading our fan club. Now, not to be confused with Courtney, who's our PR rep. Okay, don't want to slight Courtney.
Was Mark Schultz the one who did the Xenozoic Xenophiles?
That sounds right to me. I think that is correct.
I want to say that is Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Delvin, number 5.
My number 5. This was, and I gave that whole criteria, and this guy didn't fit it, but I felt like I should put him on my list because I was fortunate enough when I was really getting into my comic collecting heyday to pick up an Avengers run with him drawing it. And as I kept going into comic books, I learned how much of a legend this person is. And then Jared and I and Jared's wife Johanna got to meet him in Charlotte about 20 years ago or so, and he was a fantastic gentleman and just a nice person. And somehow this guy can draw 100 characters on a matchbook, and every one of those 100 characters would be distinct.
I think I know who it is.
And just with clean lines and a distinctive style and flair that's all of its own. Number 5 for me is George Perez.
Nothing wrong with that. I wish I had a picture to throw up. Almost picked George myself.
Man, we ain't gotten any. Have we? Well, other than Brayfogle.
Brayfogle's on my list. Yes. But I figured these lists were going to be pretty diverse because there's so many great ones.
There's
so many great ones to pick.
There's too many. This was one of those that we're like, yeah, let's do top 5 artists, and then it's like,
this is his fault.
It's like a Sophie's choice.
He picked it. He picked this topic. Yep. George Perez, nice guy. I guess when I think George Perez, I immediately think Avengers and Wonder Woman and Teen Titans.
Definitely Teen Titans. I mean, and it's crazy that he had a great run on Avengers, where
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
He's been everywhere. There's probably not much. He drew JLA Avengers crossover, which, come on, like for an artist of comic books, that had to be a dream come true.
And I can tell you, go ahead.
Oh, I was to draw Superman with Captain America.
At the same time.
It's the comics version of just here. Let's open up Fort Knox. Enjoy yourself. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can tell you from the convention scene that he is one of those very, very few creators that when he walks across the floor, whether he's going to get a sandwich or go pee or whatever, all the other creators look up and go, man, there goes George. I'll be honest with you, I've seen that happen with him, Stan Lee. That's about it for now.
But I mean, company. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. He's one of those people ever look, oh, it's George. Look, everybody's George. So yeah, very cool. Very cool. Well, my number 5. Get my sweet little and I picked this one on purpose.
Audio visual representation upcoming.
Here it comes. In fact, if Delvin leans just a little aside, we could probably see it.
Which way?
In his room.
Which way?
Other way.
Okay.
I think that's it over his left, our right shoulder. I think that's what that is.
Scott McDaniel.
Scott McDaniel. Of course, no, you have number 2. He's standing on the chimney, isn't he? This is the cover to number 1, I do believe. Scott McDaniel comes in at 3rd place. He has such a distinct style. Everything about it just screams motion and movement, and I just love it. To me, he'll always be the Nightwing artist. He and Chuck Dixon teamed up to also bring back interest in the old 70s character of Richard Dragon, and that book was fun. The Dixon and McDaniel combo is just something I think is great. Carl's Story usually dropping the inks for him. Carl does wonderful ink work over Scott McDaniel's pencils. Such a unique look, and I don't have an original Scott McDaniel in my repertoire, but I sure wouldn't mind having one at some point.
Yeah, that is. I started thanks to you guys and the cons and getting some original art, and I got some Transformers up on my wall, and I took down a couple of the Transformers posters that I had from DreamWorks back in the day. But what the 2 that I haven't taken down is one is Mike Wieringo,
Spider-Man piece.
That is just, it's beautiful, and then like it feels just speaking ill of the dead to take it down. And you
can't take that down.
And it's Spider-Man, and it's wonderful, and I don't want to take it down. But the other one is that Nightwing from Nightwing number 2. And McDaniel just
Mm.
And McDaniel / Story, they just had a flair. There's something about Nightwing that just had that attitude to it. That's just, he was his own type of badass, but not like brooding and like vengeance in the night. Just like, no, I got my Trunkians. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah. Good.
I always said that book was all the ability of Batman with the personality of Peter Parker is what it felt like. Dick
I
Grayson
just recently got issue 10 of Nightwing to complete that original run.
Oh.
I have a full run of
Nice. I have the first 25, and you know what I had done with them?
You had them bound by Omaha Bound because you're so fancy.
Correct.
Yeah,
Now I'm working on the next 50. I'm pretty close to having 26 through 50. So anyway, Scott McDaniel, take a bow, sir. You made my top 5, which means we're about to reveal our number 4s. Before we do that, just as a quick reminder, if you would like to win the James Bond movie with the Runaways novel, Christopher Golden, all you got to do is put "I want to win" into the chat, and we will automatically enter you for our viewer raffle. And of course, we'll have our Crusaders Club member raffle at the end as well. Boy, I sent off a pretty big Crusaders Club package today, or not today. Actually, it goes out tomorrow. I packaged it this weekend. It actually goes out tomorrow because if you give it the $5 or $10 level at the Crusaders Club, every year we send you a box of swag. And I don't think he'd mind if we mentioned his name, but Professor Frenzy's got a box of stuff. Ooh. And I tried, I know how he likes monsters and old school stuff. So I tried to like tailor the stuff to him. So nobody tell Professor Frenzy. He's got a sweet package coming this week.
It's a secret.
It's a Mary Jane stripogram.
Oh my goodness. All right, so that was number 5. Let's get into number 4. So people in the chat, start telling us who your number 4 artist is, please. We'd love to share them on the screen and possibly even discuss them. And this time we'll go the opposite way around since there's just the 3 of us. And we'll start with Delvin. Who's in at your number 4 spot?
See, number 4, like my 1, 2, and 3 came relatively quickly. 4 and 5 took a little bit of thought. And again, with the criteria of who did I go to the store and it's like, okay, this guy is drawing the inside or the outside, that I'm going to pick it up just because they put the person's name on it. And I feel terrible that I am blanking on the iconic storyline that DC did that happened in the mid-90s. Kingdom Come.
Oh, I see where we're going.
I was still relatively new to comics, knew nothing about it. And Kevin from whatever the heck the store was called in Auburn was like, dude, you want to pick this up? Okay.
All right.
I'll pick it up. And it's like, just breathtaking artwork. The story was iconic, but the artwork just blew me away. It was like, superheroes can look like this. This is amazing. This is just, and then you found out the detail that the artist puts into making his heroes look so human like he does. And my number 4 is Alex Ross.
Definitely was in consideration.
Yep. I can't argue with that.
I remember meeting him at a convention when Jason and I were in Chicago, and I think that book Justice was coming out because I think he was sitting at the table with the Justice creators.
Yep.
And I did a silly joke that I like to do, and I went up to him as I was getting my stuff signed. And and he's like looking at me like I got a third eyeball growing on my forehead. And I think it was Doug Braithwaite was sitting next to him, and he's like, he's doing Axl Rose jokes because it's Alex Ross. The names are so similar. And it was like, oh, I get it now. And we all had a good laugh at my stupid joke.
I was wondering, I was like, was he like I don't find that funny.
He was completely like, what the heck is going on, until the dude next to him caught on to what I was doing. I think it was Braithwaite, and we had a hearty laugh about it. But between that story, number 4 has been revealed from Courtney to be Mike Zek. Who may just appear on my list at some point today. Who knows? But for now, let's find out what Jason's number 4 is.
Well, my number 4 has already been mentioned. The year is 1999. I am collecting comic books. I am collecting the new JLA that's out with Howard Porter is drawing that. And I'm seriously thinking about, I used to read the Avengers way back in the day, but I really don't know if I want to invest in another comic book to read. And I'm stuck in Kuwait on assignment, bored out of my mind, going to the PX, some comics on the rec, and I happen to see the Avengers with the Ultron storyline. And I see like this bad A Ultron on the cover, and it's drawn by this man, George Perez. And I picked that comic up and I just devoured every page. It was so amazing. And to this day, that's one of my favorite panels, is when the Avengers fight that army of Ultrons and they get to the main Ultron and they're all like tore up, beat up and everything. And it's just a bunch of dead Ultrons around them. And Thor goes, "Ultron, we would have words with thee." Yeah. That is one of my favorite panels of all time. So number 4 for me is George Perez.
That is awesome. And George is getting some love on today's show, but I got to put this one up, boys. This is going to tug at the old heartstrings here. GLHC says is number 4. You guys can. Well, thank you, GLHC. Here, I'll put a picture of my air. There's the cover I did for crap.
I didn't put my brother on this list.
You see, only GLHC. You're getting Jason's Christmas gift this year. Jason was going to get the Rattler, but now
my number 4 was Jared.
Thank you. So, GLHC, you touched my heart, man. I appreciate it. That was really nice of you. Strangely enough, my number 4 is Jared Ulbrich. So, hey. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, GL. That's really cool. Really, really cool. That made my day, dude. It really did. Okay, I guess that brings us to my number 4. Boys, travel with me back in time to 1989.
Another summer.
It's the year of the what, as far as comic books are concerned?
1989.
Yeah,
Batman.
You're the Bat, man.
You're the Bat. Absolutely. And I'm picking up
to a kill.
I'm picking up Batman comics.
License to Kill. Sorry.
Yeah, License. Well, yeah, License to
Kill.
I am picking up Batman comics in the late 80s. I'm loving them. Much like Jason caught in on some Norm Breyfogle. Norm is not my number 4, but I found out that this guy had been drawing comics like since the 70s. I thought he just started at the Batman era, but now he's been around since the 70s. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Jim Aparo. He was drawing Batman comics when I got into it in the late 80s, and I just was like, he's another one of those that's so dynamic, and you know it when you see. I threw on the screen and delved in 2 seconds. I was like, that's Jim Aparo. Everybody knows him when they see him.
That's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, the penny flipping the Joker, which makes it even better.
It reminds me of John Byrne. It looks Byrne-esque.
It does, yeah. And I always just thought of Jim as that sort of late 80s Batman artist. And then on an episode of Longbox Crusade, we went back and covered what was that book? And it had the Phantom Stranger. Yep. And that was Jim. Remember, Jim did everything in that book. It was just art by Jim Farrow. It was like pencils, inks, colors. It was all Jim. And it was so good. And I'm just like, this guy's been around forever. So it was like a whole new world opened up to me. And I just thought, Jim Aparo. Yeah, there's a couple of Batman artists we on my list. Apparently, it all comes back to the Bat universe for me. But,
and not surprisingly,
yeah, I've been a Bat universe.
What do you think mine's going to be influenced by?
I think there's some web slinging going on your list. Man, so yeah, I'm all about the Jim Aparo in my number 4 slot. So, yeah, that's it. Jim Aparo for me. Jason had George Perez, and Delvin, your number 4 was
Alex Ross.
It's a good group of folks. A darn good group of folks. Wow. So that ends round 4. We'll get into our number 3s momentarily. First, we will remind everybody who's watching, if you hop into the chat and you put "I want to win," you will automatically be entered to win this James Bond Casino Royale DVD and this Runaways novel by Christopher Golden and Marvel Comics. So I want to win in the chat. What else can we tell people about Longbox Crusade business before we get into round 3?
We got a newsletter coming up.
I know I dropped my we're doing them audio style now because reading is hard, people don't want to read a newsletter anymore. So peek behind the curtain, folks. The person who's always last to turn in their article is also not here today. Pat's always last. Pat doesn't like to write. So we thought, well, how can we make this easier for Pat? So we said, let's do our news articles in audio format. So Pat broke the mold on that one and did his first audio newsletter for the last one. And so we decided, well, let's roll with that. So my audio newsletter got turned in this week. Jason, how's yours? What's the status of your audio newsletter?
It's all up here.
It's all up there. Delvin, how's your audio newsletter?
Exact same, but I know what I'm going to write about. So
I do too.
Happy about that. And what's probably going to wind up happening is you do a little bit more prepared, and mine's going to be more extemporaneous. For those in the listening audience, extemporaneous is Latin for I'm making
extra long. Extra long.
Yes.
Way off.
No, you're talking. Yeah, that's the second translation. I went with the first one.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. So newsletter is coming up. You know what else is coming up? We are about to record this month the last episode, Saturday Matinee Theater, where we will be covering Flash Gordon and the Space Soldiers. We're going to do it. Yeah, we're wrapping it up, the final episode. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean,
and then, yeah,
we will never hear Jason's Mary Jane impression anymore.
Is that Mary Jane?
Oh.
I had to do it. I had to jump into it.
It's Irene Adler.
That is seriously like when Jason wasn't there, like me doing that impression of pulling the string, and it's like, it's not Mary Jane. That's one of my most favorite things that I ever did. That was. If there was ever anything that I wanted people listening to that to give me credit for, that would have been it. Because when I came up with it, I'm like, I think this is going to be funny.
Well, yeah, man, GLA, she's right. No more aura. We put the poll out to our Crusaders Club members. If you want to join, it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. Being a member doesn't mean you just get little videos from time to time like Delvin and I have been doing. It also means you get to vote on show content. So what we'll be replacing it, we'll let you guys know since you're watching today.
Or you'll let us know.
They already told
you already let us know.
Yeah.
So you should know. You told us.
You told us. You voted on it. But yeah, we will be covering I think it's from 40, was it 43? That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, the 1940s Batman serial.
I can't remember. I thought it was, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's 40 something.
In my head, I got late 30s, but
maybe the Batman serial.
As old as black and white.
I think it was a 15 episode serial. So that will be what's taking up the mantle. We will stop going to Mongo and start going to Gotham. Oof. Crime rate high, boys.
Oddly enough, that's the one I wanted. When you did the choices, I voted and I picked. I was like, I want to do the early Batman series, and then Flash came on. I was like, and then I'm like, after I watched, I'm like, oh,
It's fun.
Yeah, and now that it's over, I'm like, oh.
Well, there are a couple more Flash serials, so we may end up circling back at some point. The real question is, I think sometime next year, I think late 2021, I think we finished Sherlock Holmes. Oh, so what are we going to replace for the core show? And I've got some thoughts and ideas on that. But as usual, we'll be checking in with our Crusaders Club members.
I mean, we've already started a show called The Irregulars for the alternate Sherlock Holmes with Jeremy Brett.
Right.
I would have thought that would have been a prime replacement, but
see, it does violate the one loose rule that we had for SMT. And for those who don't know, our loose rule was whatever we watch has to be older than the oldest person on the show, which is Jason. So it has to come out before 1971.
Still a lot of content. Still a lot of things to choose from.
I didn't know that. I did not know that was an unofficial rule.
Delvin doesn't pay attention to the meetings.
It's also the unofficial rule of action film face-off. We can't take a film that's older than we are.
Yeah.
But remember, Jared, that I wasn't there for the start of Saturday Matinee Theater.
I know. We've just talked about it a lot.
Look, okay, I got Homescapes to play.
I told you he's playing it now.
It's a fun game.
You can't stop me.
You know what? We've had so many interventions for Pat's substance abuse problem. Anyway, let's get into round three. We're going to talk about our number 3 on our top 5 lists of favorite artists. So people in the chat, please let us know. And people are now talking about how much they love the Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes series in the chat.
They always do.
Hey, we were like the last ones to know about this thing.
I've been watching it. It's really good.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I watched another one last night, and I loved it. It was one of my favorites.
Which one was it?
One of my favorites. The Resident Patient. Is that what it was called?
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Yeah,
that was good.
That was really good.
Yeah, I like that one. Anyway, that's not what this show is about. We'll talk about that on the Gene Hendricks show with me and Gene and a rotating list of guests. Let's get to number 3. Anybody put their 3 in the chat yet? Nope. We will get there. I think it's Jason's turn to go first.
All right. So those who know me know that X-Men's always been a core title of mine. So I started reading the X-Men really heavy in the 80s. And then I came across a mini series called X-Men The Hidden Years by John Byrne. And I was like, wow, the art and the story in here is really good. And then I knew that John Byrne had come on as the artist in the 70s on the X-Men book and went back and bought many of the back issues. And I got to say that that John Byrne was and is an incredible storyteller in the art medium. And he's secured my number 3 spot.
John Byrne.
Feeling the burn.
Might draw the sexiest storm that's ever been put to paper.
I'm thinking John had to have like a neighbor in like their apartment or something.
Like a Gloria Grant type.
Yeah. Like, you know what? I may not ever get you, but I will forever draw you.
He draws beautiful storm. No, he draws everything great. No, John Byrne's a good choice. Quick chat chime in from the chat. We've got Courtney saying number 3, Charles Schultz from Peanuts, man.
Oh, yeah.
Great cartoonist.
Dun, 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 dun.
I was mentioning earlier, one of my favorite artists that I've met personally, sitting next to me in the show, is Robert Pope. And he is currently the only official Snoopy artist. Now that Schultz is gone, the Schultz estate has basically blessed Robert to do Snoopy.
I mean, that's just an honor.
Yes, and I believe I've shared with you guys my my Snoopy drawing he did for me is James Bond Snoopy. I showed you that.
Yeah.
Which always makes me laugh. Yes, Charles Schultz. But yeah, yes, Jason, there's nothing wrong with some John Byrne, as we've been learning on Crusader Chronicles.
Yeah, there have been times, and I'll never forget that teenage bias that I had, growing up in the 90s and you seeing like these artists or whatever and thinking that like there's no way these old fuddies back in the 60s and 70s really knew what they're doing. And then you look at some of this early X-Men stuff and there's been a page or a splash page where it's just like,
oh my. I mean, be it Byrne or Cockrum or any of those, they're both.
Yeah.
Like, oh
Yep.
my goodness.
Yep. I had a hard time. Like, do I Cockrum or Byrne? At the end of the day, just because he was so prolific, I went with Byrne.
I can't help but think if we did these lists in our teenage years, we would have been like, all right, Larson, McFarlane, Liefeld, Jim Lee, Dark
Hold the phone because we still got 2 and 1.
Oh,
you don't know this. You don't know this. Darkhawk was totally an artist. He was. No.
Oh my god! Pretty much the roster of Image Comics, right? That's who we were all about tonight.
Valentino.
Oh, we got a number 3 drop in from GLHG. Oh, not bad.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Is it Reyes or Rice? We've always debated that.
I think it's Reyes.
Ivan Reyes.
Either way, fantastic.
Wrap me up, Reyes.
I don't mind coming in at number 4 underneath Ivan Reyes. Just so you know, GL. That's okay with me. Awesome stuff. So John Byrne at number 3 for Jason. Delvin.
Yes, sir.
What do you got?
I thought when Jason was talking about X-Men and then he mentioned the 80s and everything and he started talking about John Byrne, I thought that maybe he was going to go like the opposite direction towards the 80s. Again, thinking about books that I was going to pick up simply because this dude was drawing it. And I was fortunate that of course, like we were reading Uncanny X-Men now most of the time on Crusaders Chronicles. So we're in 78 now. And so I started collecting comics, especially mainstream Marvel comics, early 90s, like about 91, 92. And so that meant about 13 years of Uncanny X-Men continuity had passed by. And Uncanny X-Men, they were selling like hotcakes. And so they decided that it was time to launch another title called X-Men. And I will never forget that, to me anyway, that iconic cover of Magneto.
You talking the gatefold, the one that opened up?
There were, because it's the
so
90s,
many different versions.
Yeah.
5 different covers. And it struck me as the teenager that there was a bad guy featured on the cover. I mean, you had Magneto looking just as powerful as all get out. My number 3 is Jim Lee. I don't think the guy can draw anything wrong. His work is technically flawless to me, to where it's just beautiful. Like there are just some things that he draws where you're just like that's not fair. Why would how could he be such an amazing artist like that, to the degree that he probably just falls out of bed oozing this talent? I mean, the stuff that he drew for X-Men is legendary. And then he went he did Wildcats. I did a little bit of that. And he came back after he's already established, and he did that run of Batman that he did, which was just like, it's just I mean, his Batman was big and powerful, but not cartoonish. And his Catwoman was sexy, and his Superman too was just, the man just simply knows how to draw. And because of his artwork alone that I started picking up X-Men titles and wanted to read anything that he drew on it, because it was just gorgeous. So Jim Lee is my number 3.
I have got a giant framed Jim Lee piece in my dining room, and it is that Hush poster that has Nightwing, Oracle, Batman, Huntress, Robin, Commissioner Gordon, Superman. They're all on there. And yeah, it hangs up in in my dining room. So definitely. Well, we've been joined by legendary comic creator who's been mentioned a couple times already on the show. John Beatty's in the chat. And he gave us the inside scoop that it's Ivan Rice, like Ivan Rice.
Oh.
The San Francisco trip.
You know, San Francisco.
That's not funny, Jason. Also, I was going to use that joke.
And it's very serendipitous that he shows up when he did, because my number 3, I had to give some love to my G.I. Joe. I was like, I got to get a G.I. Joe artist on it. Here's going to be trimpy. Oh man, but when I think G.I. Joe, I think one era, boys. I've mentioned it before. There you have it. Mike Zeck and John Beatty. They are firmly in my number 3 slot. I like them together. They're the 1-2 combo that doesn't quit. So there you have. I just kind of randomly chose. I like the cover of Special Missions number 1. I like every cover they've ever done. To me, that just signifies the greatest era of G.I. Joe comics is when they were on the covers. And so I salute Mr. Beatty in the chat and his good friend Mike Zeck.
That's one of my favorite covers all time.
Gosh, that's a great cover.
Fantastic.
Delvin, who are the two people on the cover?
Hold on. Make it bigger, please.
I can't.
Oh,
Oh, they're not mainstream Joes.
I have no idea.
Jason can save him.
Torpedo and Wetsuit.
Very good.
Yep. Nope. Nope. You got to put Angelica's list up, by the way.
Oh, where's Angelica's list? Oh, there it is. There it is. Is that it?
She's got her 5, 4, and 3.
All right. She had Frank Miller at 5, Aaron McGruder at 4, and John
J.R.J.
I've got a lot of John Romita.
If you got Spider-Man, you got some John Romita. Yeah.
I've got Spider-Man. He did his X-Men run. It's funny. There's
Daredevil, I think. He had a run on Daredevil for a while.
Yep.
He did. Yep.
I see people with their hot take about how John Romita Jr. isn't a good artist, and it's like, since we don't cuss much on this show, TF are you talking about? Like, what? John Romita Jr. isn't a good artist. Okay.
I remember some because he was teaming up with now his name's escaping me. That did the run on Spider-Man, the Babylon 5 writer.
Straczynski.
Yeah.
Straczynski. Yeah, he did that run with Straczynski.
Saved Spider-Man, by the way. Saved amazing. Saved it.
Man, and some of those battle scenes that he did were just so incredible. I just
JMS brought Moreland into the fray, and
the totem.
Yeah, the whole idea of the spider totem, which I wish they would touch on more because it's a very, very cool concept.
One of my favorite scenes in that Spider-Man run was the one where Spider-Man, at the end of the day, he's on the side of the building and decides, it's kind of hot, takes his mask off, and this guy opens the window and he's all in drag, and they go face to face, and the guy's eyes pop open, and Spider-Man's eyes pop open, Peter's eyes pop open, and Peter says, "You don't tell, I don't tell." Guy's like, cool.
Oh, that's Straczynski. He's got a funny bone. Yeah. Well, that's it for our round 3. I had Zeck and Beatty, and Jason had Byrne, right?
Yep.
Was your number 3, John Byrne? And Delvin, you brought in
Mr.
Lee. That rounds up for round 3. If you guys want to be entered to win today's viewer raffle, and you want the Runaways novel by Christopher Golden and the James Bond Casino Royale DVD, just put "I want to win" in the chat.
Oh, GL's asking me what happened to Ezekiel. And
I was just wondering that myself.
Yeah, what happened to Ezekiel?
We can sidetrack on that because I don't remember what happened to him.
I don't remember either. I want to say he died. I want to say Moreland killed him, but I read a lot of stuff. It's hazy. Dude, Google it.
Yeah, Google it and let us know what happened to us.
Please. That would be great.
We don't remember. Oh my goodness. Well, that's going to get us up to our number 2. Don't forget if you want to win the DVD and the book, I want to win in the chat. We've only got a couple entries, so your odds are good today.
They are most good.
Most good. So that's going to get us to number 2. So people in the chat, start revealing your number 2.
Who does number 2
work for? So we're about to reveal our number 2s. Please share them with us. Courtney got hers in early. She was Stanley. He's scribbled and scrabbled a few times. That's for sure. He
did. Yep.
Can't go wrong with that. I do love him. I do love Ditko. Those early Ditkos because he was so different. Like his Sticko drawn Stan Lee Spider-Mans were so different from what a lot of people are doing.
That's had to be what made Spidey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You've got because no one was picturing the concept of a man crawling on the walls like a spider, and it just had to be so weird to see that.
Well, and then you just said man. Ditko got the physique of a teenage boy, in that between era of being a teen and being a man. He got that leaned out look so well done. Chola's going with the king, Jack Kirby.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
That's a great choice as well. Whose turn is it go first? Delvin, is it you this time?
I think so because Jason went with
Burn,
not Beatty. My number 2. Again, had to spot. Not this is my Spider-Man corner, my 1 and my number 2, and I had to think of the first Spider-Man artist that I was collecting. Where looking at his stuff was an event, and that should be enough of a giveaway. Lisa Jared. I just like the style that. Of course, this is me new, and now looking at Ross Andrew and the work that he brought on, and knowing that Ross Andrew is one of the main influencers of this artist, and to see the work that he put onto the page, looking at Amazing Spider-Man every time that he drew it was just like, you got to have the human stuff because it's Spider-Man. And it's like, yep, that's cool. Can we get back to Spidey? Here we go. I want to see Spidey in some freaking ridiculous pose that no one could do, but it looked so damn awesome on the page. And then Marvel thought enough of this dude as an artist that he had never written anything. And they're like, you know what, dude, we're going to give you your own Spider-Man book. And I remember taking that I would read the story, sure, okay, and I would just go and look at the art. And just there was about 5 or 6 of Spider-Man. Dude drew like this Hobgoblin, where Hobgoblin was more of like a demon. Just how it's just I don't know if it was anatomically perfect, but just how it struck your eye. And then, of course, Todd McFarlane went on to do Spawn for a couple of years. And just how, again, it was so dynamic that you had to pay attention to it. It just almost leapt off the page how beautiful the work was. So my number 2 is Todd McFarlane. Like I wish he drew more. He had bigger visions. And I can't blame the man for that. And he's rich as a stitch. But I wish that he had drawn more, because every time that he got to a point where anything that he did was an event. I wish that even one day that he just went back and drew a couple of issues of Spider-Man. He doesn't have anything to prove.
Just a run of covers would be fun.
A run of covers.
God, that'd be great. Here's some Todd McFarlane trivia that you might not know, Delvin, because I know that you don't dabble as much as I do into this universe, but he drew some issues of G.I. Joe before he got big.
Yeah.
I didn't know G.I. Joe. I knew he did some Hulk.
Yeah.
And he did a few other things, but he found his
wheelhouse on Spider-Man. Yeah,
with Spider-Man. Just something about the character, how he did it was just
Todd McFarlane.
Unforgettable to me.
GLH, he chimed in with his number 2, Samuel Clark Hawbaker. Can't think of one of my favorite comics, Nomad, without thinking of him. So he's the Nomad guy. Plus, he did a Bond-like cover that he would love to have as a poster. That's a unique choice, GL, and I support. I love unique choices. So good for you, man. And Chola, we got Chola's Jack Kirby and Jason. Jason's number 2 is Jim Lee.
Already been mentioned by
Was Delvin. I right?
You're right. You're right. Yep. The year is 2000. And Jared and I are at WizardCon in Chicago. I remember it was 99 or 2000, one of those years. Mm-hmm. And I have with me my son Grant, who's 5 years old at the time. And Grant wants to get a he's got his little art pad and he's trying to he's cute, he's young, so artists are like sketching out little things for him. But Jim Lee's at this event, and as is Frank Miller, and they're I think this was the year. Maybe I'm mixing my year. All-Star Batman and Robin came out. So it might have been 05. Maybe it was 2005.
We did go twice, so it might have been
yeah. So it was 05. Okay, my mistake. So we're in line, and so Grant's got his thing, and they're very clear that they're not doing sketches. This was they're signing books, but it's like move along, lines a mile long type of deal. So I told Grant, said, don't even ask them for sketches, because it's, you see there's a big long line, and they're very popular right now, and they're trying to get as many people through as possible. So he doesn't even ask. He goes up, but Jim Lee sees that Grant has a sketchbook, and he says, "Would you like me to do a sketch?" And Grant didn't know what to say, but I was like, "Well, if he's offering, go for it. Tell him to make it out to Jason." So Jim Lee does the sketch, and then Frank Miller's watching him, and Frank Miller says, "Well, I just can't be upstaged by Jim Lee." So he also does a Batman sketch,
back to
back. And both of those original sketches are to this day framed and hung in my son's apartment. And so, in addition to all the things that Delvin said about Jim Lee, which are 110% correct, that moment really touched my heart. So Jim Lee gets my number 2 spot on the list.
That's fantastic.
Can't go wrong. Well, I bet you're all wondering what my number 2 is.
Jared.
Yes.
Before you reveal, GL found out what happened with Ezekiel.
I did see that. I did see that in comics. But the fate of Ezekiel, sacrificed himself to save Peter from the spider that would have eaten Peter in the spider temple. So that's the last we've seen of him. Comics dead is never truly dead unless you're Uncle Ben. But yeah, there you have it. All right, number 2. So I thought to myself, I've got a lot of Batman artists on here. I got a Nightwing artist, which kind of counts. I had Jim Aparo of Zek did some Batman covers, 10 Nights to Beast. I will remind you, those were Zek covers, I do believe.
Zek.
But I was like, who's the other big heavy hitter for my comic book reading? And it's much like Delvin, is Spider-Man. So then I sat down and said, force yourself, Jared, to pick one Spider-Man artist. And what I was fascinated to discover was, like we said, if we'd done this in our teenage years or our college years, I'd have been like McFarlane, Larson, the guy who did Ultimate Spider-Man, whose name just fell out of my head.
Ultimate?
Yes.
Bagley.
Thank you, Mark Bagley. Those would have been the 3 I would have been forced to choose from. But thanks to this crusade that we go on, boys, I'm going Ross Andrew. My number 2 spot. I have been completely convinced from our crusade, just pouring over all these Ross Andrews Spider-Mans, and then I read all those ones where Ross and Esposito. I got to mention Esposito. He's the best inker suit for Ross Andrew. That's a 1-2 combo you can't quit on. They did those soldiers versus dinosaurs, comics.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I got to see him draw creatures. I got to see him draw soldiers. I got to see him draw military equipment, and then all the stuff we got to see in Spider-Man. And I said, you know what, Ross Andrews, I think he's going to be my Spider-Man artist from now on. And I stand by it. My number 2 is Ross. Maurice Franconi Andrew. It's not his middle name, but it's Ross MF.
I'm with you.
So yeah,
you had me going. I was like, oh, it's Frank.
And I didn't even mention how he draws the beautiful girls. Mary Jane and Gloria Grant and all those. The Betty, they all look beautiful. He can draw anything. He can draw anything. And shout out to Mike Esposito for he puts on him. So, yep, that's interesting how the Longbox Crusade has changed my opinion over time, but I'm giving it to Ross Andrew. Once we get to issue or episode 600 or wherever the heck we're going to get to at some point, I might have changed my mind on my favorite Spidey artist, but for me, it's going to be Ross for now. That's the end of round. Well, technically round 4, but we just revealed our number 2. So we're about to get to the ultimate round. Honorable mentions time, asks Green Lantern HG. Gosh, we could go on and on. Honorable mentions, off the top of your head.
Man, some of them been called out. Ross Andrew, Alex Ross. I think Mark Silvestri was one that I really thought long and hard about. You called out Mike Zeck. I think that's another good one. Gosh dang. There's
For some reason, Alex Malik keeps popping up in my head.
I like Malik.
Carlos Pacheco.
I like Tim
Salvador
Sale a lot.
Tim Sale.
Sal LaRocca. Yep.
Definitely Sal LaRocca. I collected a couple of books because of him. I think a Superman run because LaRocca. No, that was Pacheco.
John Buscema.
Man. Yep, Sal Buscema.
Or Sal Buscema, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of Jason Masters. He's the guy that launched the James Bond comic.
Buffy says hi, everybody.
If I could think of a comic creator cat pun right now, I'd totally do it. But I got
I was working on one.
Meow.
Steve Epting, because I just looked at Captain America. Steve Epting, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Ed McGuinness.
Yes.
Oh,
gosh, there's so many good ones.
Uh-huh.
So many Jay Lee. I love Jay Lee's work, especially on the Gunslinger.
GL mentioned Mark Hatherley.
Yeah.
Who I was looking at something that he posted on Instagram that you drew. And I was like, what does his style remind me of? And I think it's, is it Mark Silvestri?
Yeah, I could see that.
He reminds me, his work kind of reminds me of Silvestri. And I'm like, and I mean that as an absolute, I don't have to caveat that. I bought one of Mark's pictures of Black Panther, which is badass.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Marks, I'll throw Mark Teixeira on the list there, from Ghost Rider and
Wolverine, yeah,
all that jazz. Black Panther, when that got launched under Christopher Priest, Mark was the lead guy on that. So Joe Juiceco was doing the covers. We could go on, man. We could go on and on.
GL with the Kuberts, absolutely.
Well, how did the Kuberts not come up from father to both sons,
dude? With X-Men. Once Jim Lee left and went to Image, I think Andy Kubert took over.
Yep.
Okay. Guess I'm staying. Yeah, just woof.
Yep. Then his brother took over Wolverine.
Such a high quality of work. Just magnificent.
Oh, now I'm thinking of a couple of Hulk artists. Dale, is it Keon?
Yeah.
And
Gary
Frank, and then there's the guy who did like the real heavy inked. Oh, he was so darn good. And why his name fell out of my head? It's gonna kill me.
One of my favorite Spider-Man artists was Eric Larson.
Eric Larson was fantastic. I found out later in life that him and Tom McFarlane are good friends. And so, like, Larson followed McFarlane on Spider-Man. And his work is every bit as outlandish and wacky and dynamic as McFarlane's, but it's his own style. I would never confuse Larson for being a McFarlane clone or anything like that. Great artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Fun to look at too. He drew such a fun Spider-Man. He was the first one also to draw Dr. Octopus in the suit. Which
with that white suit.
Really classy look for him instead of that ugly scientist outfit. Now he drew him in the suit, all classy. Yeah. Oh, Humberto Ramos. That's another one.
Yes, and the one I was trying to remember was Mike Deodato Jr.
Another.
I follow Mike on Twitter. He is a student of Shotokan Karate. Every now and again, he'll do like some form or something on Twitter, looking all BA. Yeah, he's love his work too. Great stuff.
Good. Well,
Greg Land, another good one.
Yep.
Controversial, but good.
Really?
Yeah, he's been a subject of controversy in the last few days.
Send it to me.
Yeah. Severe.
I've got an original page of his though from Nightwing, framed and hung up. So many good ones out there, boys and girls. So many good ones. But there's only one number one for each of us. So
that is true. That is true.
People in the chat, reveal your number ones.
Mm-hmm.
And we will discuss them as we discuss ours. And as usual, I can't remember which way to go this time.
Me either.
Jason.
I think it is me. Yeah.
Sure. What's your number one? Reveal it like a magician.
All right. So this one I'm pretty sure was the year 2000. And my son is, I believe, 5 years old. And I got for him a coffee table book of Marvel Comics. Now, my son is all into Harry Potter at this point in time. He very much came up in the era of the era of Harry Potter, started reading the books really young. We were reading them to him. And he loved magic. So he naturally gravitated towards Doctor Strange. And at this convention, there was a little known artist named Gene Colan who happened to be there. And my brother, his uncle, took him to that table. And Gene Colan, who also had a huge line of people, was not really doing sketches or anything, saw my son Grant with his book, took him on the other side of the table, sat him down beside him and said, "Who's your favorite character?" And my son said, "Doctor Strange." And he drew and helped Grant ink the Doctor Strange image in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my son's prized possession. And so Gene Colan, who is a tremendous artist, I don't have to sing his accolades. Everybody on this panel and in this chat room knows the history here. Also was a tremendous human being and greatly impacted my son and his love for comics. And I will forever be grateful. So Gene Colan gets number one in my book.
Number one. I remember standing over. This was before smartphones, so I had to have like a digital camera, just taking pictures of him working with Grant and then talking about it. Man, that was a cool moment.
Yep.
The other Gene Colan moment I remember from that is I asked him to sign my Blade DVD because he's the co-creator, and he's like, "Hey, this version's a lot more violent than what I came up with." I imagine so.
Yeah. I don't know
but still.
It's like, but did you see the soundtrack? Eat.
Oh my goodness. While we're going around the horn, let's see here. We've got tugging at the heartstrings. Thank you, Courtney. I don't deserve that, but you are super sweet to say that, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. GLHG. He went a little emotional, which was nice because I remember he gave me his number 4 slot, and I appreciate that. GLHG says when my dad started reading me Spider-Man as a kid, it was the artist at the time. Can't think of Pete or my dad reading to me without thinking of John Romita Sr. Awesome,
great,
awesome. Yes. Very cool. Very cool. Thanks again for sharing those with us, and for the people who foolishly picked me. I certainly appreciate you guys' friendship. You're too kind. Speaking of people who have foolishly been my friends for far too long, let's get the number 1 from Delvin, the Dark Web Williams.
The big reveal.
Come on. It's Mark Bagley.
We all saw it coming a mile away.
Not so big, but I can go into a little more exposition. Right around the same time I started collecting comics. I started collecting comics on the and my flagship title personally will forever be Amazing Spider-Man. And I started collecting right at the end of the Eric Larson run of Amazing Spidey. And a guest penciler came onto the book, and it was Mark Bagley. I believe he drew an issue with Boomerang in it. And may have had the first appearance, even though it wasn't fully on screen yet, of Carnage. And after Larson left, Bagley came on as the main penciler of the book, and he grew into the character, and he drew a lot of really good storylines with J.M. DeMatteis as the writer, leading to one of the only comic books that almost stirred me enough to cry, which is Amazing Spider-Man 400, which was beautiful. And Bagley stayed on that book for years because of I found out about Bagley through New Warriors. New Warriors is a favorite of mine of all time. Just love the idea of them, love the team. And he drew about the first 2 years of that. And because he did so well on that, he got the promotion to come draw the flagship title of Marvel. And he went on, he drew Thunderbolts. I picked up Thunderbolts because Mark Bagley drew it. And and at this point, he's been all over the Marvel universe. He's drawn some Hulk. He went over to DC universe, drew a little bit of Batman as well. DC did not put him on a title and let him stick. It's like, dude, you guys have Bagley and you didn't. Mistake by DC. And of course, like what he's probably most famously known for is his legendary run that he did with Brian Michael Bendis on Ultimate Spider-Man, where I will never forget, of course, they're doing the traditional 12 issues a year. And at some point, they're kind of like, yeah, we're going to do 18 a year. 12's not enough. I'm sorry, what? Especially, again, me coming from the 90s, I'm used to, like, people, we're going to come up with a series, and it's going to be awesome, and there's going to be these cool concepts, and, yeah, we're putting out, like, 4 books a year. Maybe.
Well, they didn't plan to do it that way. It's just
they never planned on it, but sure enough, it's like
what happened.
Yeah, I want to watch. I want to do video games instead. Joe Matt. But I admire Bagley because his artwork is just he has clean lines. He can draw any. I haven't seen any character that he's drawn badly, and his stuff stands out as well. And it's funny. It's not as dynamic as a Jim Lee or a McFarlane, but he is so steady with his work. And for me, that combination of, I know if I picked up a monthly title with Bagley on it, he isn't going to need breaks. I'm going to be reading the next year, the next 24 issues, and it's going to be Bagley work, and it's going to be of a high quality. And that means a ton to me. So for that and many more reasons, Mark Bagley is my dude. I followed him all across the Marvel and DC universe, and because of the stuff that he drew. So he's my number one.
Can't argue with that.
So number one, Bagley. Number one, Gene Colan. And I think we all know what my number one is going to be. It's back again.
There it is.
I love Norm Brayfogle. I love the way he draws motion. I love everything that he conveys, the energy. It's, this is, somebody mentioned in the chat a minute ago, I think it was John, and we talked about this at the front of the show, it's hard to have a true top 5 list because it's going to always evolve, right? And I think, you have experiences and you do stuff, but a lot of it depends on when you came into comics, which is also what he mentioned in that comment, when you started reading.
Yep.
And I started I was reading comics here and there, but I started getting serious about it in the late 80s, and Brayfogle's on Batman, and it's just I've never seen anybody else draw like Brayfogle. I've never seen anybody it's so unique, and it when you see it. And like I said, what an amazing storyteller. Just the way he lays out pages, the way you can follow action. Jason and I have talked for years about how you can follow Batman fighting these people, and he always does little things that connect it. Like he'll have him throwing the Batarang while throwing the punch in the one thing panel. The next panel, the Batarang's coming back. He knows how to add things that take you to the next one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's incredibly unique and wonderful stuff. So I am all about some Norm Brayfogle at my number one.
Yeah, he's right too. I mean, I think there's no right or wrong answer. Like I could come up with a totally different set of five artists.
Yeah, I mean, John just mentioned Kelly Jones in the chat. I love Kelly Jones too.
Mm-hmm.
So what a unique look for Batman.
So it's just really, really difficult, and I think we all have our flagship titles. We all have our experiences and our stories that help form our top 5. I know, like I was watching as people in the chats were saying who their favorites were, and then I was like, oh man, why did
I know, right?
Yeah, like, I wish I could squeeze them in.
John's being a joke maker in the chat, but look what he wrote. I mean, it's true. Yeah. Like we can come back next week and have a good list. I could do it right now. Give you a whole I could do it right now.
Top 5. So
John mentioned Michael Golden in the chat earlier. Mm-hmm. Another great. It's just like you could. They're everywhere.
Kurt Swan. There's another.
There you go. We could just.
Yeah, we should just change the whole format of Longbox Crusade. We're just going to talk about artists we like. Yeah, you remember that time John Baby drew this book? That was awesome.
That was awesome. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm just glad that we got so much chat going in the chat about this. Neil Adams, Steranko. Yeah, there's John just popping off some more greats.
Yeah, I thought about Neil Adams. I thought about Steranko. I can't go wrong with either of those.
Wally Wood, another great one. Bernie Wrightson just came to mind for me. Another good one.
Yep.
Woof. So much. Al Williamson. John's just listing them off now. John's just rapid firing them. Mm-hmm. But he's not wrong. So many greats. Yeah, it was funny. Like we did top 5 heroes and top 5 villains, and then we were kicking around this one, and Delvin was like top 5 artists. I was like, all right. And we all quickly realized how difficult this truly was.
Well, I shouldn't say a mistake, because what it's now come down to is it gave me an opportunity to reminisce about some stuff and why I was influenced the way that I was. And same thing with Jared, same thing with Jason. Jason told a lot of stories that were either revolved around the Army and his time deployed or his family. And Jared told stories like usually revolving around either Comic-Cons or Batman. And I told my stuff based off of Spider-Man for the most part, or like just how, like when I started collecting, what continued to get me to the store as a kid. So everybody had a different angle. And I like it because no one could possibly be wrong. I love seeing GL's pick for Nomad. I've heard of that artist before, but would not have thought of him in a million years. But that's someone who's stuck in GL said, I love Charles Schultz because I grew up a Peanuts fan too. Awesome picks.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Good conversation. So the real question is now, thank you everyone who chipped in today. So many to talk about. This is basically just grab names, man. There's so many good ones. That will bring us to the point of the show where
Somebody's got to win something.
Someone's gonna have to win something. How many people did we only end up with? The 2 people entered?
Yeah, but we didn't bring it back up again.
I brought it up between every round. Between rounds.
You know how to listen. I'll be playing Homescapes.
I know you play Homescapes.
I wrote down Courtney, Angelica, and GLHG. John, I actually want to talk about that. He said no one picked Rob Liefeld. You know what? I would be lying if I said that I didn't pick up I picked up X-Force because of Rob Liefeld, and I was sad as a teenager to see Rob Liefeld go. Because there's something about his work that is eye-popping. It's dynamic. He knows how to make a splash page, that's for certain. I'm not gonna down the man because of that. I didn't get into what was his Image book?
Youngblood?
Youngblood.
I didn't get into Youngblood as much. I didn't get into a lot of his later stuff as much, but yeah, Liefeld was anyway.
Yeah, I remember when he came back to do X-Force in like the 2006-ish time frame. I picked it up. Like, I will buy this nostalgia hit right in my arm.
He's like, this is a cheap ploy to get me to get comic books, and it worked. So
Yeah.
Here's my money.
Yeah, and John just dropped Mike Mignola's name. What a unique take on art he's got. Gosh, so much. All right, so we're doing a randomizer for just 3 today, huh?
Unless anyone else is in the chat that wants to get in on it.
Yeah, this is your last chance to type I want to win, and you'll get the James Bond Casino Royale DVD and the Runaways novel from Marvel and Christopher Golden. I want to win.
I say let's go with it.
All right. Well, you put those names in a random order or assign them a random number, and I will give you one, sir. I will give you one. Where'd my keyboard go? Oh, there it is. I got a wireless keyboard, so sometimes it gets lost.
Or as Dr. Carr say, wireless.
Wireless.
Yes.
WAHR.
Wireless.
All
that
right.
dude knew his stuff. I got to give him credit. A lot of the stuff that he said came true. So he knew his stuff. He was like, what class was that, Jared?
Telecom.
Our telecom class, our instructor, Dr. Carr, this dude was like, the wave of the future is wireless technology.
Yep.
What are you talking about? Like, I'm getting on my corded phone back in my dorm room and talk about how stupid he is.
Check my messages. I gotta tell you, this one came so close to cracking my top 5. John mentioned Brian Stelfreeze. He was on my. I was like, because again, heck of a nice guy.
Remember when we found that Brian Stelfreeze autograph comic in the Book Nook?
The Book Nook, yeah, I think it was a Shadow of the Bat. One of the covers he'd done on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I've run the randomizer, sir.
Okay, I'm ready. I already got the numbers randomized.
Whoever is number 3.
Whoever is number 3. Are you sure? Is number 3 the number that you picked?
3 is the number I picked. Well,
are you positive? Could you double check that?
All right, let me go back to click the tabs because I still have the random number generator up that I set from 1 to 3, and it is on 3.
Oh, well, in that case, congratulations, Courtney.
Courtney.
Hey, Courtney.
Courtney's Longbox Crusade winning stack is getting out of control.
That's getting to be a
She
big
didn't
stack.
even win last time. GLHG did, and he gave it to Courtney for her birthday.
That is very sweet of him.
That is very sweet. Happy belated birthday, Courtney.
We got good fans.
We do got good fans. All right, now's the part of the show where I go and I pull up the Longbox Crusade Patreon supporters.
Thank you for your support.
Very much. And I believe that there is 20. Currently have 26.
26? Did we lose one?
We did. I know who it is too, but I'm not going to out him on the show.
Oh,
There we go. There we go. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. There we go. 26. And let's see here. Well, I probably should tell them what they're gonna win. The great thing about being a Crusaders Club member is you don't have to be present to win. Of course, we'd love to have you here. But if you're a Crusaders Club member and your lucky number is called this time, you'll be getting a copy of X2 X-Men United on Blu-ray.
Ooh, nice.
And you'll be getting the audiobook of Zorro Rides Again. Love the art.
Very nice. That is great art. Yeah.
So you get the audiobook of Zorro Rides Again and X2 on Blu-ray. And that's all for being a Crusaders Club member. Don't have to be present to win 1 through 26. I will let Delvin pick the number.
13.
13 would be in my randomizer. Well, thank you very much.
Wow. Join. Wow. Nice.
Auburn Elvis wins the day.
Auburn Elvis, War Eagle.
War Eagle, Auburn Elvis. John wants me to show my ad. I don't know that I don't have it all queued up and ready to go. If I had it queued up and ready to go, I'd show it for you. I guess I'd have to pull it down and then go full screen and share screen. That seems like a lot of work.
Is it your Christmas ad?
Yes, he's quite taken with the Christmas ad.
People really liked it.
It's a wonderful, wonderful little ad. Oh, I got to figure out how to bring that in to the stream. John loves to tell me. I was already on it, John. Heading to Twitter. Let's see. I'd have to pull up my page. This is hard. Computers are hard.
Rick, not Jeff.
What, he showed up?
He did. He's like, I'm ready for the show. What are we talking about? I'm sorry to inform you, Rick. That's 4:30 Eastern. 4:30 Eastern, not Pacific.
Rick, we're in the same time zone. How'd you mess that up? Smoke must be getting to his brain. It's smoky out here.
Means Jason's not doing his job.
No.
Jason's an air quality professional, so he got to blame.
Hey, man. I didn't start the fires. I do have a original Carrie Heineken piece that she drew for me.
Oh, I heard about that. I think
really
it's
nice.
Related. All right, let's see here. Let's see if I can't just do something to make John happy today. All right, I'm going to share the screen and the audio. And you should get the forever screen.
All right, there it comes.
Here we go. We got it?
Yeah.
So dude, very good job.
Oh, hey.
Is the audio coming through?
Yard sale.
It is.
You might be wondering, why am I wearing all this festive holiday gear?
Well, the answer's simple. Holidays are coming right around the corner. It's one of my busiest times of the year, so you should get on my commissions list, especially for my very popular book page sketches. What are book page sketches? Well, we've got some samples. Let's start with Jaws on a page from Jaws. Maybe some Venom on a page from a Spider-Man novel. Maybe you like Harry Potter. I've got Professor Snape and all the characters you like. Star Wars, there's a Darth Maul sample. Maybe you like the classics like Tarzan. I got Tarzan on Tarzan. How about Wolfman on Wolfman? Can't beat that. Maybe you're a G.I. Joe fan. You like to see what they look like on a page from an actual military manual. I've got all that and so much more. Many books to choose from. How much does this cost? $27 with free shipping to the US. Can't beat that. Get on my commissions list early because it's going to bog up during the holidays. And happy holidays, everybody. Well, I hope
there it is.
Listening to that, that felt very ROTC. Like tell them what you told them, and then what is it?
Tell them again.
No,
oh wait,
it's 3 things. It's like tell them what you're going to tell them and tell them what you told them. That's it. Bam. Or like it felt very ROTC. It's like sure he had on a Santa hat and everything, but I know what you're doing there. And something about that, I'm like it was familiar. It was familiar here and a little bit here, and maybe down like in this stomach.
Oh, okay.
Here.
Oh goodness. Okay, I can't. All right, John's cracking me up now. I need a 15-minute weekly show with some character. Well, he can play as himself, but it'll be fun. Only if you agree to co-star with me, John. Oh, John said he wanted to do videos like that too, but he has to remain professional. Remember, he's a respected member of the College Professional. Oh, goodness. You guys crack me. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the Christmas commercial. Don't forget to get on my commissions list early because it does bog down in December.
That's what you said.
That's what I said.
You told us. You told us you were going to tell us, and now you told us again.
Oh, my goodness.
It's $27. It's $27.
Free shipping in the United States.
See?
Yes,
it's very effective marketing and storytelling. I and Captain Tom Smith would be very proud. Cameron Burgess.
Oh, anyways, that should be about it. I want to thank everybody for being here. Congratulations to Auburn Elvis and to Courtney. Get some stuff in the mail to you guys.
Good times.
We had a fun chat about a bunch of wonderful creators today, and that was good times.
Very good times.
That was fun.
Don't forget to check out the Longbox Crusade on your favorite podcatcher. And we'll be there making jokes and the whatnots for that as well. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to our channel. And if you got a little extra time, go over to the Yard Sale Artist channel, subscribe there. And then while you're doing that, I want you to think, you know who else is pretty cool? John Beatty Art. Go give his channel a subscription as well. Thanks for all the support we get here, everybody. We're doing some fun stuff. Oh, I know on my Yard Sale Artist channel, I'm going to be doing a video pretty soon about I found some cassette tapes. Found the cassette tapes of my youth.
Got some prints.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try to convince Stelvin and Jason to just go right from here to doing another live stream over on my channel where we're going to talk about the tapes I found. They're in that blue bag over there, right there.
Oh, I see it. I can see it peeking out. I can see the peeking around the corner.
So anyways, thanks again, everybody, for being here. And we will catch you next month on another Doing It live stream. If you want to see more of us live, be sure to join that Patreon Crusaders Club you see at the bottom because we do some live recordings just for those folks as well. So get in on that. And with that, boys, you got anything else?
No, man. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, always.
Awesome. Well, then, everybody, act frozen.